Hey, it's Cooper here, Big D Services, with an episode of Are You Kidding Me? The question was asked of me recently to directly answer was in reference to white privilege. With all that's going on in today's world, you have divide in every single different category. You have divide in what actually is taking place, what actually is being said, who's actually being listened to, and who's actually has a valid point. Okay? Let me address the question that was asked of me of discussing what white privilege is. People share with me these posts about, well, you know what? Black privilege is this degrading statement of people on welfare, buying tennis shoes, buying cars, not paying rent, and not working. No, that's not black privilege. And if you look at the individuals of what they're spending their money on, they have absolutely nothing. So they buy a material thing to give the appearance that they have something, first of all. But white privilege is in reference to a statement of white lives matter versus black lives matter. Now let me address this directly. When you look at a statement of black lives matter, I have to say first, all lives matter, but white individuals have their life as a positive reflection all the time. And here's the exercise I'm going to give you to prove this point to you. I want you to go to your television or Netflix or any of your devices or social media and flick through the channels. I want you to flick through 50 channels. Just go up or go down. And what you're going to experience is you're going to see the portrayal of white people. All 50 channels are going to portray that. And you might come across one black ad, maybe, one sports event, maybe, or one negative portrayal, maybe, in those 50 channels. Now, as you're flicking through those 50 channels, I want you to take 10 seconds or longer with each channel. What that's going to display to you is what white privilege looks like. Every aspect of life, you have the opportunity to do whatever you see fit. White privilege is not degrading the hardworking white individual that puts a hard effort in and comes home at the end of the day sweating. That's not the definition of white privilege. White privilege is technically invisible. It's a privilege that you have as a white person to not be ostracized via TV, to not be ostracized in reference to a normal road stop or car stop, not to be ostracized in walking in public, not to be ostracized on a day-to-day basis. It's just a thing that you have a opportunity to not have negative things happen to you because of the color of your skin. Not saying that you don't have hardship, not saying that you don't have mistreatment in categories. But let me explain the difference in mistreatment in categories. A black person who's mistreated in a category, and I will use, for example, the American Kennel Club that has no executive people that are of color. The reason why that is a hardship is the opportunity is not even available or allowed. It's not a not want, it's not a not interest, it's a not allowance. So if you look at white privilege, the white privilege states that if you want to work a job, you can. All you have to do is apply yourself. If you want opportunities, you have more opportunities just in nature. And the reason for that is the white majority population. I used to teach a class called Cultures, Customs, and Communication for the state of Minnesota. And back 10 years ago, you had media saying that the minority population was going to take over the majority population by the year 2015. It's physically never possible for it to happen. The numbers state that if you'd have to have every white person on the planet to stop having children 20 years ago for the minority population to catch the majority population. Just to catch it. Not to pass it or to place it. So the fear of minorities should be squashed right there. But the privilege allows individuals to make statements and comments however they see fit. Now, for example, white privilege. The monuments that are being destroyed, which I am totally against destroying history, I'm more so to gather the individuals of ignorance that are destroying them and teach them the history. Are there degrading situations? Yes. Are there things that aren't uncomfortable? Yes. But there's good and bad in a lot of people. So, but the privilege was that the individuals were able to be glorified, and the non-privileges is to state, I don't like it. Now, white privilege allows an individual to state, I don't like this or I don't like that, and be heard. A black person says, I don't like something, and they're disgruntled, or they're just acting out, or something's wrong with them. They should be happy that they have a job. They should be happy that they're able to work a garbage job. They should be happy that they're able to work phones. They should be happy that they're able to play sports. They should be happy that they're allowed to do these things. They should be happy that they have a judge on the Supreme Court. They should be happy that they have governors and mayors. They should be happy that they have those positions. No, white privilege is making the statement of a group of individuals should be happy that they have. No, it should be equal for all, and it shouldn't be comparison per person. White privilege is the ability to say, I walk into a department store and I can yell, scream, and get mad at the clerk, and the clerk doesn't call the police. White privilege is a person that can walk through a park and say, oh, this person's attacking me, this black person is doing me harm. That's what white privilege looks like. White privilege looks like a white woman calling the police, making a false report on a black man, so the black man is now arrested, has to go to court, stand in front of the judge. The judge says, what did you do? The black person says, I don't know. Why are you here? Don't know. And now the black person has a record because of a false claim that a white person has done. That's white privilege. Because in scenarios, myself, have called the police on white individuals doing crime. When the police show up, they go to the white person and say, what happened? What do they do? That's what white privilege looks like. The hard part about white privilege is so many people don't look at the benefits that they've had personally. So they don't understand white privilege. It's not that you don't work hard. It's not that it's just a thing. You have the privilege to do whatever you want, say whatever you want, go wherever you want, and you have the privilege for more opportunities. Only because based on population. Only because based on structure and control. Only because based on the reference of dollars and cents. That's what white privilege looks like. It looks like you walking up to the door, knocking on it, and saying, yes, I'd like a job. That's what white privilege looks like. Being able to come and go as you please. That's what white privilege looks like. If you look at yourself and look in the mirror and all the benefits that you have, and when you make the statement of, I have a black friend, keep in mind, when you have that, make that statement, you are privileged. It's not a bad thing, it's just a real thing. There is no reason to be disgruntled or disapprove of the privilege. The jealousy factor is the black person as a whole would like to do the exact same things with the realms of freedom and privilege. I'd like to be able to have graduated from college, gone to the business that I applied to, and had them not tell me, we can't hire you because we're going to send you to a white area. That's the difference in white and black privilege. You get restricted for many different reasons, and it's only because of the color of your skin. Only. So as a white person out there, and you don't understand the unrest, and you don't understand the anger, the privileges that you have are just there. The hard part about when you have privilege, you don't know that you have privilege. Another example, when a person stands in front of a group of people and says, my father gave me $1 million loan. For all those that don't think that's a privilege, picture what you would be able to do in your own personal life if somebody walked up to you and said, here's $1 million loan. You just have to pay it back. That privilege allows you to multiply that money exponentially. So now, having that as a privilege, be able to work a 9-to-5 job or be able to work in different career fields, it increases your ability to do things. It increases your ability to have access to education. It increases your ability to have access to learning stock market. It increases your ability to have access to different social groups. That by having different social groups increases your power of existence. When you don't have that, you have unrest. When you don't have that, you have a separation of father and kids. When you don't have that, you have no teaching process of education and the value of education. White privilege looks like education, because that's what it is. All those that have had the ability to do benefit from those who have done before them. And if you're lucky enough to have the benefit of those that have had money before you, that's an additional privilege besides the color of your skin. I'll give you another exercise. Go into a restaurant, a bar, a grocery store, a Walmart, and walk in the door, and within the first 10 seconds of you being in that door, count how many black people you see. You can't even count how many Mexicans you see because they look like Italians or they look like white people. You can't count how many white people you see because you'll be overwhelmed by the numbers. Or try that. Count how many white people you see and count how many black people you see. The reason why I give you that exercise is to show you that your identification possibilities. When you walk into any location, you will see a black person because they stand out by the color of their skin. The privilege of a white person is if they've done crime or unjust, they can blend into the crowd and nobody even knows that they were there. That's the difference. To be able to do the things that you want to do and be able to be accepted in the group whenever you choose to. Whenever you choose to. If you want to work hard, you have that choice. You have the ability to do that. If you apply yourself to a job or you apply yourself to a company, that company will tell you what you need to do in order to get into that job. That's what white privilege looks like. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying the opportunities that are there. Oftentimes a minority has to have a privileged person pull them in or accept them in order for them to be accepted. So white privilege is an underlying existence of ability of opportunity. If you have any questions, feel free to share. Feel free to post. Feel free to send me questions. I'll be more than happy to answer to them, because as we have these conversations, the world gets better.